Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Ox Talks. Thanks for watching the show. Hope you're having a fantastic and productive weekend. Yesterday, I went out and voted. I hope that all of you will do the same and make this country great. We can't. I personally, and of course, I'm in California, and one might say, well, in California, if you vote Republican, your vote's really not going to matter because it's overwhelmingly a blue state. Yada yada yada. But I can't, in good conscience, sit here and have an economics channel and talk politics and all the things we talk about on this channel, and then capitulate and not go out and exercise, my voice and my right. So I did yesterday. I went to the polling place. Interestingly enough, there was almost no directions where to find this place. Nothing posted outside about early voting. When I went in and talked to some of the poll workers, they said that the place where they were have the location, the owner of the property would not allow them to post any signs either at the location or out in front to give people directions. So I thought that was interesting. I appreciate you supporting the channel, liking the videos, hitting the thumbs up. We're growing the channel. Please share the videos for me. Post them on your social media. Let's keep waking people up. And subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed. So, article I saw today from Zero, actually came out late yesterday from Zero Hedge, and talks about Warren Buffett. And we've heard this before that he has liquidated certain positions, but this I thought was very, very striking. And as I was thinking about what it means, obviously at his level, one of the wealthiest guys in the world, everyone might say, well, this is ridiculous. Who cares what Warren Buffett's doing? I can really afford to put food on the table. But hear me out. Let me share the article, and then I'll bring this full circle because we can extrapolate this, I believe, to a lesson or let's say an approach that can work in all of our lives, no matter what our economic strata is, okay? So let me share the article first with you. It says, Buffett calls the top. Berkshire dumps 100 million Apple shares as unprecedented selling spree boosts cash to record $325 billion. Back in August, it says, when discussing Buffett's ongoing liquidation of his Bank of America stake, we said that Berkshire's rising cash stockpiles merely reflect the firm's inability to find deals in today's overvalued and weak economic environment. Little did we know just how accurate that would be, because just one day later, we and the rest of the market were stunned to learn that far from only dumping Bank of America, the 94-year-old Omaha billionaire has been busy quietly liquidating his most iconic holding in an unprecedented selling spree that sent Berkshire's cash pile soaring by a record $88 billion to an all-time high of $277 billion at the end of the second quarter. All-time high cash stockpile. That was just the beginning, however, and this morning, which was yesterday, we subsequently learned that through the end of quarter three, Berkshire's unprecedented cash build continued, and the world's largest conglomerate added another $48 billion to its cash. As shown for context in the chart below, Berkshire has nearly doubled its cash holdings from $168 billion at the start of the year to a staggering $325 billion 9 months later. That's a 94% increase in the cash stockpile of Berkshire Hathaway. So it was $277 billion at the end of quarter two. It was $325 billion now, end of quarter three. 94% increase since January 1st of this year. Okay, so what does this guy know that we don't know? Probably about everything. All right. And meanwhile, everybody else is piling in the market. I shared a story the other day briefly that I believe ETF holdings in this country right now are at historic lows, right? Because everybody is in the market. They're all playing the market, and they're playing on the long side, meaning they make money when the market goes up. Most people don't understand the market, including me, frankly. But if you're not doing it the right way, if you're not hedged on the downside, I think that, again, do your own research, not financial advice, not trading advice, but it can be catastrophic. The bulk of the new cash came from sales in the third quarter. Berkshire sold a net $34.6 billion worth of stock following the record $75.5 billion in quarter two liquidations, the bulk of which we now know came from Buffett's sale of half of his Apple shares. In other words, the third quarter was the 8th consecutive quarter in which Berkshire has been a net seller of stocks. And what's the American public been doing? Buying. And the selling continued while there was no 13F filed yet to go with the Berkshire's 10Q. The company provided a snapshot of its top holdings, revealing that as of September 30th, it held only $69.9 billion in Apple stock. That's down a quarter from the $84.2 billion it held as of June 30th of this year, down 62%, from $134.4 billion as of March 31st, and down 70% from the $174.3 billion that it held as of December 31st of 2023 in Apple. This translates into just 300 million shares of Apple held as of September 30th, less than a third of what Berkshire owned at the end of last year. That's a 30% of Buffett's, and 30% of Buffett's peak Apple holdings of 1 billion shares back in 2018. It said Buffett said in May that Apple would likely remain Berkshire's top holding, indicating the tax issues had motivated the sale. He says, I don't mind at all under current conditions. This is Buffett building the cash position, he said at the annual shareholder meeting. So he says, I don't mind under current conditions. Okay, leave your comment below. What do you think he means by current conditions? It was unclear if BRK shareholders understood that to mean a sale of 70% and rising of the Apple holdings. It says going down the list with the exception of Bank of America, which we already knew was also being aggressively sold by Buffett. And in quarter three, Buffett confirmed he took down his Bank of America holdings by 23%. From 1,033 million shares to 799 million shares, which in turn made the Bank of America stake his third largest after American Express. So let me see if I want to continue reading everything from the article. It says, finally, it's not just Apple that Buffett believes is overvalued as aggressively dumping. The billionaire clearly believes the entire market is way expensive, and in the third quarter, Berkshire refused to repurchase any of its own shares. The first time it's done that since the company changed its buyback policy in 2018. And it says it's hardly a surprise why, as we noted in Berkshire's growing cash pile has a hidden message on stocks, the Buffett indicator has rarely signaled a more expensive market. Bottom line, unlike October of 2008 when Buffett led the clarion call to buy American, this time it says he is selling American at a never before seen pace. And the close says, one thing we know, Buffett is fearful, are you? Okay, so what does this mean for us, right? Us common people, working class people. Look, you can, when we use the word fortify cash position, that can mean a whole lot of things. Sure, it can mean, making efforts to convert things that you don't use. Let's say you have some things that you don't use that you can sell to go to cash to create that buffer zone for you and your family. All right, and for sure, it makes sense to do that, right? We talk about not just side hustles, but having garage sales, listing things on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace, getting rid of things that are just sitting around that you don't use. Create your own cash stockpile. Maybe you have some things you can use to do that. That you can do that with that you're not using. There would be additional revenue outside your daily income. The next thing, it's not just selling things that you have. It's also paying off debt. When you pay off debt, when you reduce the amount of credit that you're using on your credit card lines, you free up capital, okay? And I think that we can extrapolate that to mean basically it's employing the same strategy, all right? It's creating a surplus for yourself. However you do that. Maybe you don't have anything to sell. Maybe you don't have a bunch of cash surplus sitting around, but you have credit card debt. So as you start, eating away at that debt, paying it down, you are freeing up your credit lines again, okay? Not only are you maintaining and you'll be increasing your credit score by doing that because the banks like it, but you're also freeing up credit. So, if or when something happens is unforeseen, okay, you will have the available resources. Even if you have to go and tap into credit, you will be able to do it to cover an emergency. or some unforeseen matter, or maybe we do have a complete economic collapse across the board, and things get worse much quicker and much, let's say, well, worse than we even think is going to happen. So I'll leave it there today. I hope that the content that makes sense, because it's easy to dismiss someone like Buffett, what he's doing. At his level, yes, he's going to be sitting back with a bunch of dry powder coming in to swoop up deals when all this comes crashing down, whether it's real estate. You know what happened back in 08? He started buying, or in 09, started buying up the railroads. I just saw an article. He's now deploying some of his capital into Chubb Insurance, into insurance services. So I'll read up further on that and share it as time permits. Again, appreciate the comments. I'm trying to respond to those and read them. You guys, I really do. It means a lot to me. You're supporting the channel. Let's keep growing. I appreciate all of you. Have a great rest of your weekend. Go out and exercise your right to vote if you haven't done that. Participate. Make your voice heard. Please be vigilant right now in what's going on. A couple days, the election, and anything. Be ready for anything. I'll talk to you soon.